Good evening. Welcome to the second Retail Panchayat. Thank you for joining us. Today, our guest speakers are Sanjeev Mohanty, Managing Director, South Asia, Middle East and North Africa, Levi Strauss and Company. Vasant Kumar, Managing Director, Lifestyle International. And we have Vikram Bhatt, Founder and Director of Enrich Salons, Mumbai.
Hi.
They are very accomplished business leaders and path setters. Let me just give you a small brief about what's Retail Panchayat. Retail, as they say, is people's business. India's retail sector employs 46 million citizens. A vast majority of them come from middle income and lower income salaried classes from across India's urban, peri-urban, rural heartlands. Their livelihoods and futures are in immediate peril as the retail business continues to be deeply damaged by the ongoing COVID and economic crisis. Images Retail is working very closely with TRRAIN to support most vulnerable of our human resources, retail's foot soldiers, through the Retail Panchayat, intelligence with charity, what we call it. Retail Panchayat is conducting few sessions, seminars, webinars for the ongoing Sundays, maybe 3 more Sundays, and we want to raise some money to support these foot soldiers in the retail industry. I would like Nagesh to say a few words about this whole cause and what we are doing in this cause and how will we take this forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Amitabh, and thank you, Sanjeev. Thank you, Vikram. It's really good to have all of you here with us. Thank you, Vasant. And yeah, a few weeks back, I would say, or maybe a month and a half back, in the CEO panel, Mr. Mohanty actually put this thought together. So it was actually his idea to say, hey guys, if this is what is going to be the trouble, can we take it on? And he did mention saying it's a good thing for TRRAIN to take it on. So whether he nudged me or challenged us, I don't know. But we kept silent at that point of time, and actually we were thinking how to take this up because the funds required are large and the industry is also not in very good shape. And therefore, we were first looking at an anchor investor or anchor donor, I would say, not an investor. And finally, it took us about 3 to 4 weeks' time. And we had an anchor donor who actually came in. As of today, they've asked us not to disclose the name, a corporate donor, not from the retail industry, but who has committed 60 lakhs, and which is the first 2,000 for the month for 3,000 youth. So once we had that, we knew that, okay, we have a start. And we said, can we get another 60, by which we will be able to do at least 4,000 rupees for 3,000 people, a crore and 20. And we started looking at the fundraising. Our objective is very, very clear. We want to see as to how many retail associates we can help who will probably lose their jobs. And it is something that is happening already and something that's going to happen. If you can help 4,000, 5,000, it will be fantastic. That's our objective. But as of today, we already have collected for 2,300 between the anchor donor and between the angel donors of Retail Panchayat 1 and Retail Panchayat 2. So we have close to about 32 lakhs that has been collected, committed. And I think thanks to Amitabh, thanks to Images, I think all of us are working hard. This is the first time probably TRRAIN is doing something like this. And I'm so happy that all of you have actually come in, added up and have contributed to. I mean, even if the 5,000 lives would have slightly better lives for a period of 2, 3, 4 months after they have lost the job, I think we would have done something well, and all of us will feel good about it, because apart from helping our own employees, we're also helping those employees whose employers are not able to help them. And I think that's the cause. So once again, thank you to all of you. Thank you to all the participants. Thank you to the viewers who are coming in. And I'm sure all of us together will be able to achieve this objective over the next 3 more Sundays to go after this. Over to you, Amitabh.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, I must say, all 3 participants are also our angel donors. They've all contributed to this cause, and I must thank them individually for their support. Just one call and they said, Amitabh, great cause, we're supporting. I want to specially mention Sanjeev in this because he said this is a 501 genes month. So I want to contribute 501 because of that. So which is very good. And
Good.
Thank you so much. So let's start. I think, let me start with Sanjeev first from the left. Sanjeev and I have been talking about this for almost 20 years when he was the brand manager at SF Jeans. That was your first job, I think, Sanjeev? Yeah?
No, I was with Levi's earlier before that and with
Oh, okay.
TRRAIN. So yeah.
So SF Jeans is when we met, and very passionate young boy. 20 years back, he was obviously in his youth and very dynamic, always product, product, product. And I've seen him through the years, almost Benetton and finally back to Levi's. And I've always been asking him this question, and he has been very uh, emphatic and clear about it. Takes a different kind of person to build fashion businesses and brands. And I asked him a lot of time, why hasn't an Indian company been able to build a cult brand? What's missing? Why haven't we able to build billion-dollar brands? Why haven't we been not able to build 1,000 crore brands in India? What's the reason? Sanjeev, tell me what you used to tell me, and let's talk about it.
Right. So I think it's really a point of view which is very personal point of view. It doesn't represent any company's point of view. So I truly believe that, like in the technology business, you need engineers and software coders to build a great product. I truly believe that if you're not passionate about product, which is the core and heart of the business in our case, it is very difficult to get to the level of building a global juggernaut in terms of fashion. What do I mean by that? I think uh, if you look at how products have been built, whether in technology or in consumer durables, I think the heart of the product is basically built from consumer insights and therefore a deep understanding of consumers. And sometimes founders who built outstanding products, they have that uncanny ability to really connect with the consumer and build that. And I believe that, to build a great fashion company, you need to have both a passion for the consumer and a passion for the product. So, I have been very passionate about the denim business, for example. And I have actually, Vasant knows this, he was my super boss back in those days. And from buying a laser machine back then when nobody heard about laser, to basically working in the factory with my own hands, washing a denim and really understanding that deeply. What kind of, how do you understand the consumer? What is the deep insight of the consumer? How do you connect with that? If you don't understand the cultural nuances and don't continue to build and understand around that, it's very difficult to really build something formidable and long term. And if you let's take the example of Levi's, which has been around for the last 167 years, you will see that the penny dropped in exactly 147 years back on 20th of May when the 501 was patented. Everything was built around that. There was a need of the consumer, the California gold rush. Levi Strauss and his co-founder uh, found that opportunity. They were able to find that rivet and get those stitches and get those pockets riveted and patented that, and that became a sort of a global juggernaut. I think if you look at the denim industry, you will see that it began from that humble beginning. And if you look at companies around the world which have really built a global platform, I think they're thinking 50 years, 100 years hence. And I think that is something which is really missing with a very short-term view locally. Why we are not able to build a billion-dollar company locally is because the market is small. I think there is a large opportunity which is going to be there, and you will see that what has happened in China across the board. When once a per capita income crosses a $10,000 level, you will see the first few Indian single large billion-dollar companies. But coming back to my point, I think I've always maintained that if you don't have passion for people, product, and consumer, and how you bring that together. Let me give you an example. Now, if you're running a very cool Gen Z, millennial consumer centric apparel fashion brand, and you actually don't have any clue of, you don't listen to Kishore Kumar, you don't listen to rock music, you are not embedded into what is happening globally in fashion, you don't understand why you should stand for 10 hours in a queue to buy a Supreme collaboration. If you're not embedded into the cultural, movement which is happening across the digital cultural movement, across music, you're not passionate about what is happening on retail, technology. You need to be completely passionate. You cannot fake it, right? Your personal sense of style, how you understand consumers deeply, how you bring that. You don't need to be a product expert, but you need to have passion for the consumer. Now, I can't imagine that Sundar Pichai not being a coder and running Google. There might be very, very rare exceptions, but if you look at any fashion apparel company, has been founded by a founder who was a merchant or a designer, and then he hired the right people to build that. I find that completely missing. It's a very non-passionate business view sometimes, and very short-term oriented in terms of your investment and how you look at it. And second, I think, and not second, I think the most important thing is how you build an ecosystem of the smartest talent. Today, talent is basically, it's not country centric. Talent can be basically, hired from anywhere in the world. And I think we shy away from that. I think the best talent is basically available. You look at what has happened with Flipkart, for example. When they started, building their product, I think Sachin and Benny really decided to get the best Silicon Valley tech talent, and most of them were Indians, but they also got talent who are not Indian to come and build, because they knew that they're competing against the might of Amazon, right? And talent is what is going to make you win. Luckily for us, we have the talent ecosystem through our technology institutes and engineering colleges. We have the brightest brains, so we were able to get that. But in fashion, I think it's a very young industry. If you look at it, it goes back to just 20, 25 years. The first brand started emerging in the early 90s. Once things opened up, still there were restrictions in terms of FDI investment. I think I'm very sure that over the next 10, 15, 20 years in our lifetime, we will see an Indian brand probably emerging at a global scale of billions of dollars. And I think, we have discussed that from Japan, a Uniqlo Jagannath could actually take over the world. From Sweden, H&M could come in, from Spain, Zara could come in and dominate the market. And our advantage, Amitabh, is that we are not only a sourcing, innovation, manufacturing hub, but we are a large consumer hub. It is very rare, and I think that is the plight for China and India. While being very manufacturing and consumer oriented, there are few brands which are emerging from there. For example, Li-Ning is something which is going global. So I think the mindset has to change. We will get that opportunity. I think the talent is going to be ready. We will have a fantastic ecosystem, but we need that passion to really feel the consumer, feel the business, passion for product, passion for retail, technology, and passion to get the best talent. I think it's a people business. We need to get the best talent. We really shy away. If somebody wants to go and see a Milan fair, we think that it is an expense, right? We don't really think it's an investment. We are not thinking sustainability from a long-term point of view. We are not thinking what investments to do in terms of technology. Now everybody is suddenly scrambling for tech and Omni and other things. But you have to be ahead of the curve. You have to really cater to the consumer. We can definitely have a value brand. Why can't we have an equivalent of Prima, for example? But I think that's
let me go to Vasant for that. He's been working on this and successfully doing it. Vasant, before I come to that Primark thought and value fashion thought, I want to ask you something else, which is something which I've been wanting to know. And I've been asking this to my friend Kabir also, and I want to know your version. So whoever I talk to, finally they say, oh, is that Landmark Group? So then there's no problem. They will manage it. They know retail business and they really understand it. Why is it? Why does everybody say Landmark Group? Oh, they know retail. They know how to do it. They will sail through it. They will manage it. What's there in Landmark Group which we are not aware?
See, in Landmark Group, I mean,
you've also worked in other companies, so I want to
very much
know your understanding. You worked in few companies before that.
So in Landmark, I am finishing 15 years. It's very similar to what Sanjeev said. Essentially, passion. In Landmark, it was founded by a chairman, Mickey. He started as a one-shop retailer, baby shop. That's how he started 40 years back. Now, when you are doing only retail and you want to grow only in retail, what happens is you will learn and keep improvising 360-degree. Everything around retail, you will have a hands-on. And as you grow, there are ups and downs. Cycles will keep coming. If you notice in India as well as globally, every 6 to 8 years, there'll be downturns that will come, and then it will go up. And in 40 years period, we would have seen at least 5 cycles or 6 cycles. So as a company, for us, we work with partners. It may be brand partners or private label vendors or mall developers. So we have a very strong relationship with these partners. The next is with the consumers. We have a very clear idea about the target customer whom we are servicing. So if these two are very clear and we are going for a long term, then what happens is any ups and downs, you will also be flexible enough to understand and take your employees, take your partners, take your vendors, take your mall developers along the way and continue to serve the customer with whatever they need at the time, because customers' need keeps changing. So you should also adapt accordingly. So changing customer needs should be carefully studied and adapted. And in the process, take your partners, take your employees along the way so that we, all of us clearly demonstrate that we are there for the long term and ensuring that we continue to remain sustainable, viable, and also keep strengthening relationship both at the customer end as well as the partners.
So that's very nice, and I understand that you have to take care of your partners, your employees, your customers, understand target. I think most of us do that. There's something beyond that. Why is this
requires
Manu?
patience. It requires patience because a lot of testing will happen on this. When you
I
are
don't
saying
want to, Vasant, I don't want to name people, but I have written a list of names. So I met Mickey myself, and I've seen how humble, he's so down to earth. When the first store opened in Gurgaon, he took me around. He said, "You know why we opened this store, Amitabh? Because the customer comes in this direction, in the going direction. So we didn't open on the opposite side." I said, "Oh, achha, that's very nice. So that's a new insight because you open always in the direction of the crowd coming in or the traffic coming in."
One other thing, when you are having that kind of an approach, then you allow ownership. See, we give our leadership allows ownership at every level. If I am handling a lifestyle and home center, there is certain ownership that is given to me.
So do you have a stake in Lifestyle India? Would you have a stake in Lifestyle India?
No, we have. I mean, there are.
I'm just saying this because I want it for the benefit of others, because a lot of owners in India don't think like that. I want to spread this thought that you have to make partners within the business.
Yeah. So we ensure that all the CEOs in our companies act like
have
owners.
An ownership model.
And then, and also down the line, all our stakeholders, all our presidents and vice presidents, in each function, they act like owners. They will have to own what they are doing. They have to ensure the customer service is done. They should ensure stakeholders are taken along. And they should also ensure that it is always kept efficient and lean. See, there is another characteristic. We don't expand just because others are expanding.
Sure.
At the same time, we don't keep quiet because everybody is keeping quiet. Sure. There is a steady growth, opportunity-led strategic expansion that keeps happening in Landmark Group, so that even in the good times or bad times, you are not toppled. So that balance is always maintained right through. But clear customer focus and stakeholders relationship. These two always are tenets written clearly from our chairman and driven right down.
Perfect. I'll come back to you on the value fashion thought after we come back to, let's go to Vikram first. Nagesh, we'll come back to these questions later on. Let's just finish Vikram first. Vikram, I think the salon and beauty services business is the hardest hit in this whole thing. And I think even after 8th June, I think you're not allowed to open in a lot of places, no?
It requires state approval as well.
Yes. No, for everybody, I think, but is the salon business is going to be the most hit mentally, also psychologically, also consumer-wise. So what are you thinking? Are you Are you innovating? Are you thinking of changing the way this business was being done? What are you doing?
Okay. So in today's situation, I would say salon business is risky. So is commuting in metros, so is visiting a supermarket, so is being on the road, anywhere, because this entire thing is so contagious. It is not dangerous, but it is contagious. So it can happen to anyone. People who are into hospitality, people are into service, people are into medical, everyone is getting it. So I don't think so. Our business is any different from any other business where customer touch point is concerned. Yes, we come to a close proximity to the customer while giving the services. So we need to be a little more careful. But with the kind of systems and processes we have developed over a period of time, not thinking COVID in mind today, but if I can talk about Enrich, we have built a single-use towel or a single-use kit for facial and manicure pedicure. It's been there for 10 years. We have a formal quality audit department which talks about, and as you rightly mentioned, ours is a people-heavy business. It's a situation like running on treadmill every day and ensuring those 200 little things are done perfect to create that great customer experience. So in this case, we've ensured that our systems and processes are tight. Now, in current situation, we have made it more. We have added extra measure of safety along with the consultation from our medical friends. Industry has released some norms, so we are kind of ensuring that we are safe enough environment for customer to come in. We've opened few stores in Bangalore and Gujarat, and in first 3-4 days learning, what we see is probably sitting at home and being into this business and hearing so many things around, we act and react too much to the situation. We become at times little cynical and little extra. We overdo things, but customers coming at place because he or she has also visited to a supermarket in last few days, and how behavior changes, right? In Bangalore, first week, people want to pay only digital, and we encourage to pay them digital. We give them reward points to pay digital, right? But slowly, when people have started being cash, because they're also spending cash somewhere else, so things settle down. We all get used to it, and then I'm sure after this 8 weeks of learning, 9 weeks of learning, that fear is now settling down, right? And then we are talking more about being cautious. We are talking more about being disciplined in our behavior, and this will require more into our day-to-day small things than anything else. So like, how do I open a door? And so we have installed a kind of pull mechanism to pull the door with the foot pedal, foot handle. Right. So these are the small, our sensors, our sanitizers are going to be touchless sensors, right? And likewise, we are giving kit. We are not giving medical kit to the customers. We are not doing overdo, but whatever is required to be done, we are doing good enough. And that's how we are managing the business. Then now coming to the business, I want to talk a little more about that. Is if you see today's customer, what are they missing, right? They are missing their shopping. They are missing their entertainment. They are missing their work, for that matter, right? They are missing food, and they are missing their personal grooming. Now, for every other thing, shopping now has started off. So they are getting something at home. Food, delivery business started some time back. So quite a few of us have learned doing and being chef and trying to put that, okay, now I've learned this. That is being taken care of. Entertainment, we know that nothing is missed out. There are web series and Netflix of the world who are completely taken over that thing. Even at work, yes, we all understand that we are not productively busy, or rather we are busy, but it's not generating income now, but we are seriously kind of getting into restructuring the entire each and every element of the business and rethinking and rejigging blocks so that we are better prepared for tomorrow. Now, if you ask customer, one thing which is topping the list is their personal self-confidence, and which comes largely from the grooming and how do I look and how do I feel, right? So that's something according to me, and as like being an entrepreneur and this thing, we always see everything optimistically, right? We see, no, this is what it is going to drive us, and that's where somewhere the passion gets into the picture. But for sure, our business is being missed most by our customers, and that's how somewhere salon business not being talked at all today in every news channel, every business magazine, every discussion, be it social media. Grooming is part of the discussion.
Great. Let me just, Nagesh, I have a small friend who has contributed something. Before we come back to all three of you, I want to talk about Mr. Dhruv Bogra. Dhruv is an old friend who's been a colleague, and we've known him from the industry. I just want to say a few words about him. He's also participated, and he's one of our angel donors. That's his book. So something very interesting. Let me tell you about it. So Dhruv Bogra, country manager, Forever New. He heads this brand, Forever New now, and a veteran from the fashion industry. Just an adventure and endurance cyclist who cycled extensively in India, Indian Himalayas and Western Ghats on his mountain bike before he embarked on an epic, solo, unsupported 15,000 kilometer cycling journey from Alaska to Peru. Amazing. Let me introduce his new achievement, Away, a real adventure book with maps and pictures that Dhruv wrote in 45 days during the COVID period. During the 45 days lockdown, it will lead you into the heart of the great wilderness of the Himalayas and last frontiers, that is Alaska, narrating fascinating adventures, many undertaken solo on the saddle of mountain bikes and pack on his back. Away is dedicated to grit and spirit of the thousands of migrant workers who have endured great sufferings in the pandemic, walking and climbing thousands of miles to reach their villages and places. I want to say that this is we are very thankful to Dhruv. Let me tell you, Nagesh, that he's actually selling this book on Amazon, and he's going to donate all the revenue generated from this book from Amazon for TRRAIN for this purpose, which is, I think, a very big gesture on his part. So I thank Dhruv for this. Nagesh, would you like to say a few words? It's a very big gesture. This book is being sold on Amazon, and all the money which comes from this book is going to be donated. Plus, he's also donated some personal money, not from the company, that I must say.
So first of all, I must say, Dhruv, congratulations on what you've done. Thank you for doing what you have done. And as Amitabh was telling, I thought I would like you to give us a small video bite. And I would like to put it on the Train Circle app, where 130,000 retail associates are there on the app. I want them to get a feel of what adventure is. I mean, the world can lock us down, but we should have the ability to unlock ourselves. And that's the thought I get. So forget the unlocking one. I think before that, you are the unlocking version 0. Yeah, so it's amazing, amazing, Dhruv. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dhruv. Thank you very much. Thanks. Okay. Let's go to our next angel donor, a friend of ours. Everybody knows him. Raghu, we call him. Raghu now heads Bhartiya City Mall. Raghu, welcome and thank you for your participation and ownership for this. Would you like to say a few words and your thoughts about this cause me and Nagesh are working on?
Sure. Well, first of all, I'm delighted to be participating with you here and as part of this really, really good initiative. When Amitabh called me, this was, I think, about 10 days ago, and said that he and Nagesh were doing this initiative to really help retail associates who've lost their jobs. So I didn't even hesitate a second, and I told Amitabh, this is something worth doing. And, you can certainly count on my support. So, I mean, end of the day, listen, I don't even have an operating mall. Hopefully, I'll get it in a few months.
Sure.
But
that's what friends are for, no?
Yeah. We are eagerly looking forward.
So, yes, Vasant, for sure. Let's go to. Yes. But no, I think if at this stage, if we don't help retail associates in this hour of need and crisis, And the numbers I heard at the beginning of the show were almost 5,000 people who lost their jobs. I think we'll be
more people. So we are supporting. Nagesh, 5,000 we will be supporting. No?
Our objective is to support 5,000 and many more. The journey is towards 5,000. My estimate, Raghu, is that out of the 6 million in modern retail, there could be anywhere between 250,000 to 500,000. In the 40 million in traditional, there could be anywhere between 500,000 to 1 million. 1.5 million to 2 million. About 5% of the total, and about 15 to 20% of the modern retail is what my estimate is. So if we do achieve 5,000, okay, we can pat our back, but we would have not even touched the tip of the iceberg.
Sure. And I think it is sort of incumbent on us to come together. And all I can tell you, Nagesh, is that once we open our center, we're happy to work with Images and with you to see what further we can do to help retail associates who've lost their jobs. Not only that, create employment opportunities. In any way that we can contribute, you can always count on us. So it's a pleasure, Nagesh, to help on this.
Thank you.
Thank you, Raghu. Thanks a lot. Thanks for coming and joining us.
Thanks.
Nagesh, before we go on to our speaker, I have another person who has supported us, and he supported us very nicely. This is a person I would like to mention. He's not coming online, but somebody who I've known for a long time. He used to be the Rajasthan distributor of Coutons, if you remember Coutons, the brand, Mr. Kohli.
Yes.
So I was fortunate or unfortunate, I don't know what to say, to be helping Kohli Saab during those times. So he used to run a brand called Charlie Jeans.
Yes.
So I said, sir, Charlie Warli bekar naam hai, Coutons, cotton ka bahut trend. So we created this name. So Rajesh Agarwal from Jaipur used to be his Rajasthan distributor. And he called me, when the last Sunday when we did that seminar, he called me after 20 years. And he said, Amitabh, I want to help. His brands are called City Vibes. And let me tell you, he's opened how many stores? Let me tell you how many stores he's opened. He's opened some, let me tell you, City Vibes opened his first EBO in MI Road, Jaipur in 2012. Very profitable. Within a short span of time, they have opened how many stores? 8 stores in Jaipur, Jodhpur, Bikaner, Kota. There are 1 lakh plus loyalty members, 30,000 square feet of retail space. Now he's gone on this trip of City Vibes and let me tell you that very innovative men's ethnic wear and some specially unique waistcoats collection. He's also got a huge celebrity following, which I was very surprised. So Amitabh Bachchan, Abhishek Bachchan, Sanjeev Kapoor and many more are his loyal customers. So I must thank our friend Rajesh from Jaipur, who's now running this single brand men's Indian wear stores in Rajasthan, for contributing for this cause. Thank you, Rajesh. Thank you. And Nagesh, would you like to say a few words about him?
Yeah, I think it's amazing that you have actually taken out of your association with Coutons, because whatever happened to Coutons, I think everybody has to remember there was a lot of learnings.
Yes.
Because many times we don't appreciate brands and businesses which took the path and for whatever reason did not achieve what they wanted to achieve. But in the process have left a lot of learnings of what not to do, okay, or what kind of an ambition and aspiration should have for a consumer business. So I must say that you must have learned a lot from there, and Rajesh, you have created a fantastic chain of stores, and I'm sure it is the beginning, and hopefully post the COVID situation, you may have many, many more coming. But thank you very much and all the best.
Thank you, Rajesh. Let's continue, Nagesh. You have some questions on what Sanjeev spoke earlier, Vasant spoke earlier.
I had a question. I had a comment on Vasant's statement, and I want to open it to the others.
Sure.
You asked about ownership, and yes, all the seniors have shares. But I think to me, there is something more in Landmark Group or in Levi's or in Enrich, and all the three I'm saying because I know them personally as a customer as well as a person from the industry. I think the ownership, whether we shares or not, the ownership is in the brand and the business. So everybody owns Enrich, irrespective of whether they own shares or not. And the beauty of Levi's is that the front-end associates behave like an owner. Okay, if I had time, I would have told you the story of the winner of our TRRAIN Retail Awards, who happens to come from Levi's. But what he did, okay, was only somebody who had ownership to do. Yeah, otherwise, you wouldn't spend hours to attend to a customer knowing that the customer doesn't have money in the pocket, and finally the customer buys. So I just want to leave the thoughts with them saying, hey guys, how do you create ownership not by giving shares, but by making every employee an owner? Oh, I'm leaving the question to all of you. Anybody can answer this.
See, Nagesh, you are absolutely right. That is what Landmark is known for. What we do at every level, be it at a store manager level or a department manager level or at the concept level or as a design or a buyer level, we ensure that they own their part of the business in terms of how they run it. We understand their pain points. We understand where they need empowerment. We make it easier for them to deliver it. And we also go with the mentality of helping. See, we have very strict processes. We have very strict guidelines and all for delivery. It doesn't mean that if they make mistake, we punish them. They are allowed to take risks and through that learn and improve. See, this ownership and risk goes hand in hand. You cannot demand ownership without allowing them to take risk. And that's where Landmark is known for. We allow them to take those risks, learn from it, and keep improving on it. So that what happens is innovation happens, they take those calls and keep moving. And they also ensure that both customer delight and the operating efficiency both are maintained. We have to have a balance. And to me, sense of ownership is what I could see as a virtue which Landmark was able to do across the levels.
Nagesh, can you quickly answer one thought of mine for Vasant, what he said about land? Because there was a time when you were running Shopper Stop and Landmark was starting creating this lifestyle thing. What did you find difference in terms of what Landmark used to do and what others used to do? What is your view on that Landmark group?
First Landmark store lifestyle came as a competition to us in Hyderabad. We had a store in Begumpet, which was our third store, IT company, defunct building, and we took it for. And then Lifestyle opened their first store just a few kilometers away. And the second store happened in Bangalore near Margaret Road. Okay. Yeah. So let me not give you what I want to say about Lifestyle. Let me tell you what a customer told me. I was standing outside my Margaret Road store, and I saw a customer who actually came in with Lifestyle bag, went into our store, and must have spent half an hour, 45 minutes, came back with no bag of Shoppers. So I went to the customer and asked him, sir, you spent so much of time, but you have not bought anything from us. So you know what he said? He said, Mr. Nagesh, we love you, but we got a merchandise from Lifestyle. So to me, the most important learning for me was that when Landmark Group Lifestyle came into the country, they came from understanding the product, the assortment, the placement. Shoppers Stop started off with absolutely no understanding of the product. I think our whole thing was really about customer experiences and modernizing the way retail was being run in this country. I think that's a fundamental difference that we saw between these two. And I think they have maintained it. They've maintained this. Their investments are very high in product. Therefore, their private labels are far ahead of Shoppers when compared to Shoppers. So that I think is the core. And I think what Sanjeev said was very right. I mean, product and passion, I think, is extremely, extremely critical. Okay. And therefore, if you allow me, I have a question for Sanjeev to ask. When you say passion and product, let's say if you have the best Niftian, okay, who understands product thoroughly and is passionate, and she or he wants to set up a business to create a great brand. Okay, I don't even mind taking a name of Manjula here, who's probably done a fantastic job in terms of creating chemistry or cover story. But let's say somebody like that, what would you, Sanjeev, suggest her or him to do something one, two, three things that starting with a COVID era or a post-COVID, she can build, let's say, or he can build $1 billion brand in the next 20 years?
Right. So interesting. I would personally do that, but it's easy to give advice. But what I'll say is that, looking at the post-COVID era, we are very clearly seeing some certain changes in consumer behavior. I don't know whether you have followed, the share price of Lululemon in the last 30 days, almost doubled. And clearly, I think there is, let's take an example that there is a big trend for athleisure, working out, yoga at home. Yoga was invented in India. I think it has tremendous legacy, but there is no yoga wear brand as yet. We still have people buying from foreign brands. So if you're somebody who has innovated on a product, you're an FTN, you understand that very well, you're very passionate. I think one of the things which I've learned running Jabong for some time during a difficult period, and actually being able to talk to a lot of VCs and private equity players, is that how technology companies and founders have actually found complementary qualities with co-founders and brought in different kinds of skill sets. There is no ego. I think the first thing is to really admit your strengths, but also admit your weakness. So if you could bring somebody who could bring something else, technology, because probably it will make sense to build a technology-led business, a digital business. Would you be able to, be humble enough to admit to your strengths and to the gaps in your strengths to bring in a technology co-founder and bring in an operational co-founder and build a business around that. So I think that has been a great learning. I think the era of, single genius founders, maybe like Ritesh Agarwal of Oyo or Steve Jobs, he also had a co-founder, but I'm saying that, that could be one of the first things to do. I think capital is very easily available if you have a great idea. And, the willingness to basically stay on the course for a long haul and make personal sacrifices to really build the business out and actually pressure test the model. I think that is point number two. Point number three is also, I think that is another learning which I've had. And I do have a personal board of directors. And my personal board of directors are, really accomplished leaders and founders who advise me outside my company, right? So I have personal founders. I don't want to name them because they are friends, but two of them are basically from Harvard Business School. They are very, very accomplished. Two of them are businessmen. None of them is from the garment apparel industry. But every month we meet, we spend 4 hours together, and we discuss issues which are personal, which are professional. So bring in your personal board and actually try to bring in advisors who can really raise the game for you. So these are the 3 things I would really advise for somebody who's founding a business, and to think like long-term, think big, and really have an ambition and passion to scale the business. If you have these 3 things, I think you're unstoppable. And I think there are enough entrepreneurs who have demonstrated and dominated global markets, whether in technology. I meet so many founders in technology, not yet met a founder who has that right now in the fashion business.
I just want to go to Vikram. Vikram, pick those 2 words.
Nagesh, can we just go? We have our angel donor, one more friend. He's been waiting. We'll come to you, Vikram, after this.
No, that's more important. Don't worry.
Mr. Reshab.
But Amitabh, I'm actually enjoying this.
Sir, Nagesh, I am sure you know Reshab Soni. Sanjeev knows him very well. They work together. So let's carry on. I think Vikram says with
I
Nagesh.
just check with Vikram this whole thing about personal sacrifice, okay, and resilience to think long term. Okay, I have seen how Enrich has been built, and I personally believe that you're going to see a big boom. Okay, and we'll have to do one show maybe after 3 months with only you. Yeah, because by that time you would have said, Nagesh, we are not able to manage because we are running at
Yeah. Valued at a couple of $1 billion if you're giving shares out to panelists. Willing to invest.
I mean.
At one point of time, you can't have 1.3 billion people wanting the same service irrespective of their awqat. Yeah, this is amazing possibility. Yeah. So tell me about this whole thing about personal sacrifice as an entrepreneur, or talking about resilience and looking at long term in spite of ups and downs. Yeah.
Okay. Two or three things. First of all, in our case, I would say, and I really mean when I say, it's like our good people who have built a great organization like Enrich. Maybe we were part of the Enrich, we were part of the journey, but I think somewhere blessed with great team who's full of energy, who's full of enthusiasm, positivity, and that is what something very important in our business, right? Because we come in close proximity of the customer while doing the service. What is happening in their mind actually transpires in the way they work. So what we do rather, and what we have invested, this culture and this process built, it gets evolved over a period of time, right? So while good people have got together and built this organization, we have focused on their continuous learning and development, not only technical. Technical skill is something which they need to do for their work, but learning and development is something that which they personally gain and evolve and progress in their life. Second thing we did over a period of time is to create some sort of career in this business. First of all, it was never a structured business. So someone will join, will leave. It's like horizontal movement. But over a period of time, after continuous learning, we realized that, we need to create career paths for people. They need to look up to get to the next level, and they need to see how I am growing in my own role. So that's something we help them building together. In fact, as I speak, yes, we have donated a decent amount, but I feel so proud that after giving first tranche and in one of our meeting yesterday or day before yesterday, we felt that even Planet Energy should contribute something, right? And then we just set up a appeal. We do our daily communication with our team during this COVID, and we just put up a small video stating this appeal to all our team members. We call it Planet Enrich. And then out of 2,000, we could reach out to 1,700 people, and 1670 people have contributed to it. A small amount, right? And that amount we have equaled as an organization, and that's how we are contributing whatever we are doing.
70 people?
Yes. And a small amount.
I know,
yeah, but I think we felt that sense of participating, that sense of supporting the fellow kind of people, friend in this industry was more important. And let's not forget out, even they have taken a bit of reduced payout, right? Yeah, but we ensure there is some safety and security in the job, but that gesture
had actually
touched a lot to us.
Vikram, actually, when I spoke to him day before, he said, I'll contribute X. Then today morning, he called me, Amitabh, I'm tripling my contribution. Because
Amitabh, if it's possible, you should actually play that video of Vikram. It's a 30-second video. His appeal is so heart-wrenching.
Oh, wow.
And honestly, I never thought that...
Vikram, can you WhatsApp it right now? Can you just WhatsApp?
In fact,
people
just send it to me.
These are themselves under stress of not having a job, or currently the salons not being open. It's amazing. This is what builds an organization and builds people together. It is not the value of the contribution, but it is that cry. Yeah, and which is amazing.
I just WhatsApp it to you, Amitabh. I just WhatsApp it.
Okay, Rishabh is here. So Rishabh, before, I don't know if you heard us, I was telling about the Nichiren Buddhism you've been following, and even Sumanti agreed that in the last 2-3 years, Mr. Soni has transformed. So why don't you help us also transform the whole industry? Ko bhi thoda batao na.
Buddhism ke baare mein, I'm still a very early student. Yeah. No, I think in times of crisis and the strife that we are living in, I think everybody should try and generally start strengthening their spirituality in whichever way they feel comfortable with. So aside from physical and emotional, the spiritual strengthening is also very, very important. So whichever way one finds, best suited for themselves, I think in times like this, it definitely helps. And I just wanted to come in for a quick short time and, just congratulate Mr. Nagesh and you for this wonderful initiative that you guys are doing.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I'm happy to help in whatever small way that I can. And I hope that I can continue to do more as we go along, because we are still in the middle of it, there's going to be pain for a few more months. So as many people as can be benefit, I think this is one of the best things that can happen. So kudos to all of you, and continue to support in whichever way that I can.
Thank you so much, sir. Nagesh, you would like to say something?
No, I just want to say, Rishabh, thank you for this, because contributing is one, coming on the show and expressing is second, and saying there'll be a continuity of support is third, because let's not forget that we are wanting to support 5,000 youth. Okay, we could go to 50,000 if people who are watching this, people who are in our network, get inspired by us. Because at the end of the day, yesterday we were part of one of the webinars we were doing with Sadhguru, which is going to get telecasted next week. I think one of the key messages that came out was to say, I think the first thing we have to remember is we have to live. Okay, we have to survive. Okay, and when we survive, it will make a difference. And we is not I. We is I plus us and all of us together. So I think all of you joining us together on this itself is a huge, huge motivation for me and my whole team in TRRAIN, a small team of 12 people. And Amitabh coming, TRRAIN was running as a train with a front engine. But you have seen what happens to a train when there's that also.
True.
Now we have a train that's got two engines.
Yes. I think it's the combined passion of both of you, which is really going to make this thing work wonders.
Thank you for
wish you continued success.
Thank you, Rishabh. Thanks a lot. Thanks for coming on
Thank
board.
you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Pushpa, looking forward to the malls opening soon.
Yes, soon. Yes, we are all looking forward to it. Life getting back into some semblance of normalcy.
Our next angel donor, Miss Pushpa Bector, DLF Mall, who heads DLF Malls, very supportive. She's always been very supportive. When I spoke to her, she said, 100%, I'm on board and I'm part of this. I want to be a part of this. So thank you, Pushpa. Few words from you about this cause.
Yes, certainly.
Yes.
First of all, Nagesh, I think you are, if I can call you, the father of, modern retail. You had started it all.
Yes.
After that, for you to take on something like this, it had inspired me when I used to see you in the forums coming in, and you were so passionate about training with TRRAIN. So when I looked at, whatever is happening today, the thing that pains us the most is the have-nots. What happened to the migrant labor, what happened to people who are down the line, and our own retail staff. So I see a few people who have come forward during this crisis and instead of cribbing, tried to make a difference. And that's what this country really needs. And you are one of them. So, the support is the least that we can do. The fact that you are out there trying to do something credible is the most important thing. And I really appreciate that. And when Amitabh called me, and Amitabh, he just said, called me, and this, I just felt so moved. And I said, I understand. And it's one of those things that we've seen retail grow in front of our eyes in the past 14, 15 years. And it's unfortunate that these girls have been sort of in this situation of utter joblessness and not able to maintain their families. So yes, we all have to chip in at these times. As DLF, we can only do a small effort. And that effort is, more towards the fact that we've been doing a lot for migrant labor, because we felt that is one aspect that requires direct support. And we've been, in fact, I think provided almost 6 million meals as we speak for the migrant labor. And so this is another small effort from our side. And more importantly, it is the, inspiring work that you all do that makes this industry grow. The industry needs stalwarts like you to carry on the good work. So kudos to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much. Thanks, Pushpa. Thanks a lot.
See you. Thank you. All the best.
Okay, great. Where were we? So
Yeah, so just to complete my point,
yes,
so as we go along, I think what investment we have made for our great people to create this great organization is their taking care of their well-being, uh, their career journey, their learning and development, and a positivity in their way of thinking and acting. And I think these 4 or 5 things can be done multiple ways, right? Everyone will have a different way to manage it, but if you focus on these 4 items, people are there to go. One example I would want to contribute, yeah, salons are shut, right? But government allowed after lockdown to sell essential products, which is like shampoo and conditioner and face wash and body wash. There are real heroes in our team who have been going on the field, be it hairstylist, manager, operations boss, back-end team. They themselves are going and serving customers by giving home delivery. And to my surprise, within 15 days, we got to a value which is almost 50% of our retail business, retail product business of the salon or the organization, right? So their energy can seriously do wonders, right? And it's just that it has to be channelized in the right direction. And honestly, I can go n number of example talking about our people and our team, and that's the reason I'm like feeling so blessed and so privileged. So if Enrich, if at all, has done great, it is purely our 2,000 people team who's put in their every possible efforts to make it to get us at this level.
great, sir.
Wonderful.
Great work. Great work. Nagesh, should we go to the next question? You had some thoughts for Vasant on the franchise business. You said you wanted to discuss.
Yeah. In fact, in the last Retail Panchayat we had, Amitabh actually made a big statement. It was a motherhood, fatherhood statement he made. And he said that I think most Indian brands don't have the right to have franchisees. And the reason he said is that if they have themselves not done well, how can they operate franchisees and how can they really pass on that? I don't think franchise is a great system. Whereas
I want to add to that. Sanjeev, I've been saying this for a long time and I've said this to a lot of our friends. Indian brands have not even sorted out their own retail business model and they are passing it on to somebody else to run it. And I don't think that's the way. Retail is a very passionate business. It's a very creative business. It needs to be held tight, lots of systems. Only then you can pass it off. So yes, that's why we asked Vikram also, and Vikram agrees. I read the book called Pour Your Heart Into It by Howard Schultz. And the whole book, there was no mention of franchise. He said, I will never franchise. I will never give my brand to anybody. I will not let anybody run my brand. I want to run my brand and I want it to be run with passion, with those systems, because finally the franchisee is wanting to just make some money out of it. So Vasant, we want to understand, because Nagesh and me were speaking about this. What's your thought? What's been your experience? Because I'm sure Landmark Group, you're doing it differently. But what is different about it? What are you doing?
Yes, built a brand, yeah, without having a single store office. Is 100%.
Yes, which is what we wanted to talk to.
At a value level, and that too in a country like India.
And sir, profitable.
Yes.
In fact, in Landmark, we have experience of being on both sides of the table.
Yes.
See, apart from our brands, which is Lifestyle Max and Easy Buy, which I'll come to later, we also have Spar, where we are a licensor. We are the other side. We are like a franchise. Similarly, we have Krispy Kreme, where we are a franchisee. So one thing about Landmark is whether you are on the licensor side or on the licensee side, the brand which you are handling is sacrosanct. You cannot mess around with the brand. The customers whom you are targeting need to be serviced well. And we need to triangulate with the right product. As Nagesh rightly put it, one important element of Landmark Group is the obsession on the product. When we go for any new format or when we expand a format, we ensure that the product curation is at the heart of the business. Then target the customer whom we want whom we are connecting with, and then get the stakeholders along the way. Stakeholders is employees, brand partners, mall partners, vendors, all of them. Now, this triangulation is very key. We have to get all the three in one frequency and then do it in a manner which is very efficient, because in retail, I keep telling, retail is very similar to airline industry. It is high capex, high opex, and low margin. So you cannot have any inefficiencies built in. You have to give value to the customer. You have to give a lot of experience, high quality experience with the customers, and you have to be in the right places. And right places don't come cheap. You have to pay the right price for that. So when you do all this, it is important to get the triangulation right. And when you look at this thinking, then it is applicable whether you are a franchisor or a franchisee, licensor or licensee. Take the case of lifestyle. Lifestyle, we don't do franchise. We do ourselves. It's in the premium side of the market, where we collaborate with 200 brands. One of the top brands with us is Levi's. So we partner with them, get the right curation. We discuss, we get the brands collaborate with us and get the right curation of these brands in the stores. Because customers come to us not just because of lifestyle, but they come to us because of the brands which are curated there. It's a combination, and we have to ensure the right service is given. And at the premium segment, it made sense for us to do directly rather than giving it to a franchise. So this is one business. On the lower end of the business, we have Easy Buy. This is a brand which was launched 4 years ago. It is a tier 3, tier 2 format, 100% franchise. We have a 4,000 to 5,000 square feet store. It's a private label. We take care of the product. We take care of the operating systems. But the entire front end, from property to the staff to service, everything is handled by the franchisee. And we choose the right franchisees, right partners, and we are transparent about the whole business model so that they understand it. And the ownership, which I talked about, which Landmark is known for, we ensure that the franchisees also run like an owner for this, so that the customer sees it as a Landmark brand, very well delivered by the franchisee. In the middle, we have the largest value fashion brand, which is Max, where we have a combination of own stores and a combination of franchise. Around 80% of the Max stores are all own stores, and 20% of the stores are franchise. To a customer, they will not know the difference whether they are visiting a franchise store or a company store, because the look and feel, the product, the freshness, the service, everything is similar. Just that we have partnership through a franchise in that city where he has a local clout and he is able to deliver it well. So in principle, what we philosophically, we don't differentiate the franchise format, which is our own format. Customer, product curation, partnership. These three are amended or adapted to that segment and delivered consistently. This is a big challenge in retail. How consistent are you? Not for 1 season, 2 season, for years together. 6 years, 10 years, 15 years, you should be consistent. If you're able to do that, then customers come back to you again and again, and then you build the brand.
Wow, wow. Yes, Amitabh.
Yes, great. No, I think that's where we were discussing, and we were basically, so somebody has also posted this question, how do you say that franchisee is not a successful model? So we actually don't say that it is not a successful model. We only say that it is an unsuccessful model for companies and brands who have not put everything right together.
Correct.
And are not able to follow through and make sure whoever handles that partner. So if you look at McDonald's, somebody's written on that thing question. So I was talking to Vikram Bakshi once, Nagesh. You know what he told me when he took the franchisee of McDonald's? He said, Amitabh, I went to US to meet them and finally signed the papers and everything. They said, Mr. Bakshi, you are a very intelligent man, very well-known man, but please don't use your intelligence while running McDonald's, because we exactly are going to tell you what to do. So that's how franchisees work. So let's not say that everybody is in that position like a McDonald's to run a franchisee. That's where I was coming from, and I think Vasant had said it very beautifully, that that's how it has to be run. So let's go on to Sanjeev. We want to come to our next, that Primark somebody mentioned, and I've been having this debate for a very long time. I had this debate with Raza also, Vasant, once.
Yes.
and you know how passionate he is about fashion. And I've been having this, Nagesh. This is a very serious debate, and I've been thinking about this question since last few days. Should I be talking about this? And I think this is the right time to talk about. So just hear me out 2 seconds. That fashion, the word means fashion means anything which is adopted by many people. It becomes fashion. Many people start liking that or consuming that. Isn't that the meaning of fashion? So we say iPhone is in fashion.
Yes.
Now this car is in fashion, or this watch is in fashion. So if you say the meaning of fashion is many people have started using this thing is fashion, and fashion changes very fast. That's the soul of fashion. It changes very fast. It moves on. Sanjeev, this is specifically for you and Vasant, because this is a very important debate to be done, Nagesh, which is very serious debate. If that's the soul of fashion, it changes very fast, it is used by many people, then it should not be expensive, according to me. And I've been saying this to a lot of premium luxury designer brands. And I had this big debate with these 5-7 big designers of India, so called. And they had another answer to it, which I did not agree to. But I want to ask that to our real people who really run fashion businesses and real brands and real companies. So if that is the case, it has to be inexpensive. It cannot be expensive, because how can you have expensive products which a lot of people will use and which will change fast? That's been my thought for a very long time. I want to hear Sanjeev and Vasant's thought on the business of fashion. And going forward, post-COVID, there is this whole debate about we are selling more. Even Sadhguru, okay, Nagesh said, we used to have 4 clothes. Now we have 25 clothes. We don't know how many clothes we have in our almirah. That is also because of this problem, that inexpensive clothing, lots of clothing, so much wastage. What do we do? What's your thought on this, Sanjeev and Vasant? Sanjeev, or anybody can start.
Yeah.
Sanjeev.
Nagesh, you wanted to say something? Nagesh, you raised
Sanjeev.
your hand.
No, I just wanted to say that for whatever reason, I mean, nobody calls Maruti 800 fashionable, okay, but they call Porsche as fashionable. I mean, that's the way it is. I mean, you can taking the example of Apple as fashion, okay. You didn't take the example of a 2,000 rupee phone or a Geo phone. I mean, that's life. So that was just a statement so that Sanjeev can actually take on, because this is somebody has put on a chat that lovely discussion. It's almost like friends sitting together and chatting. I thought, let me challenge them before they start answering.
Also, Sanjeev, somebody has
I don't
put
feel that I'm on a panel. Sorry.
Yeah. Also, Sanjeev, somebody written, very good question. This question is a very important, and I think it's a very important question. We need to answer.
Let me take that on, because I'm from the business and I'm really passionate. It's not by accident that I'm here.
Sure.
And so I think the way I will redefine, what you said about fashion. So I would say that fashion is basically a way of self-expression through your clothing or accessories, and put together in a cultural context. So if we look at the streetwear movement in the US, it is a cultural movement, driven by hip hop and some of the underground movement. The cultural context in India, if you go to a small town in Tamil Nadu, the way they wear their sari, or in Maharashtra, will be very different. And in that context, that is fashion. And I think when we are talking about fashion to be cheap, or it has to be inexpensive, I may not agree with that, because I think it is about the value you deliver. I have known people closely in across the world who have actually skipped 2 meals a day for 365 days so that they could buy a Louis Vuitton purse, right? I know people. I think, Nagesh, the example you gave in Commercial Street, a guy from Levi's who basically sold that denim trucker jacket and won the award, was a guy who actually bought the denim trucker jacket for $3,999, for whom actually, Nagesh, the guy was moved to tears because it was 33% of his monthly salary. So was it expensive? 3,999? I don't know. I think $50 not really expensive, but for the consumer who wanted to make a statement and willing to sacrifice, 33% of his monthly income. So I would not mix up the context of value versus pricing. And I think access and democratization of fashion is what we have really understood. Something happens at the Milan Fashion Week, adopted by then the serious top-end designers across the globe, then trickles down, and there are brands which do fast fashion, there are brands which are doing sustainable fashion. And I want to bring that to the context of what is going to happen post-COVID and what we are hearing. I think consumers will become more deliberate. When I say deliberate, you will be deliberate about your purchase. You will understand that there is a impact which fashion is having on the environment and climate change. I think denim, for example, I'm talking about my industry. Denim, for example, is the largest consumer and pollutant of water globally. It consumes more than 400 liters of water. And for example, and I think one of the things, values which is embedded, I want to bring in Levi's here, in our DNA is about sustainability. I think everybody knows that Levi's has been on a sustainability journey for the last 3 decades. Whether it is sustainability around not using chemicals, about waterless technology which we are outsourcing to our competitors. So I think the industry needs to come together to see what is really sustainable fashion and how much of damage we are causing to the planet. And I think people are going to think about it. People are going to think about how much they want to buy and try to be more deliberate. Having said that, I think this is not despising a fast fashion model. It is not despising that. I think it's a level of what the consumer wants. My daughter might want to buy something which is really fast and disposable. And I think it's an evolution in terms of a thinking about what impact each and every purchase of yours, each and every action as a human being and a citizen is having on the planet, and how that is actually impacting, having a downstream impact in terms of how consumers are behaving and what is that impact which is having Amitabh. So I think that is the way I look at it. Patagonia comes and says and makes an ad saying that don't buy this bag, right? Because if you buy this bag, there is a bolt-on effect on the environment. So that made such a big statement. I think everybody's coming back, and I think at some level, Amitabh, what is happening is that sustainability and talking about sustainability is becoming fashionable. And you have to have that embedded in your DNA. You have to truly believe in that. You have to truly believe that you have to pay minimum wages because there is you have to take care of your workers. For example, we have a worker well-being program which touches around 250,000 workers, which is about deeply investing, and all this comes at a cost. When you're paying the price, if you have to use zero chemical hazardous chemicals, you have to use a technology which uses less pollution and less water. You have to really take care of your workers downstream. It all comes at a cost, and consumers do know that. Consumers want transparency in the value chain and supply chain, and that is maybe looking very far away. But if you're really looking at developed markets, already consumers are very bothered. They're asking, if you talk to your daughter or son, your son is into fashion, Amitabh, he will tell you that he really understands that sustainable fashion, what is happening downstream, where the garments are being made, what happened in Rana Plaza in Bangladesh, what is happening today post-COVID. You have read about so many things that while you have run away with profits for years, but you're not actually canceling orders and not paying money to vendors, fabrics are lying. I think there is a morality which is involved in terms of how we conduct ourselves, and moral leadership in the fashion industry is going to become more critical as we basically go through post-COVID and how we are behaving with our vendors. And therefore, I want to close with a last statement saying that as leaders in the fashion industry, it is so important that our actions, what we have done, the business model we have built, if we had not built a business model which is profitable and strong on the balance sheet, we are impacting, Vasant, myself, the amount of business we do, the vendors we support, the retail staff in the front end, the suppliers who are supplying furniture. We are supporting probably 50,000 family members across the board. Our actions as CEOs in terms of not being able to build a very profitable sustainable, strong balance sheet business is our responsibility. It is not the government's responsibility. So I think we need to reflect within ourselves and see what is the moral leadership and stand we are taking. It is so easy to fire people, but not to pay vendors. Factory workers are getting impacted. They are at the bottom end of the strata. It's good to talk about migrant workers, but let's talk about our own house and keep it in order, saying that we built such a strong and formidable, sustainable business that we don't have to do this the next time the pandemic comes in.
No, I agree with you. It's a self-expression, all that. But my question is, the business models across the world, Vasant, prove that value fashion is the best model. So if you look at, we were talking about Primark, we were talking about Zara, we were talking about H&M, you're talking about Uniqlo. Uniqlo produces some of the finest products, and look at the pricing. Look at Vasant, what he's doing. Max is today. So I think the whole idea of this discussion was to say, is value fashion the real business model in fashion?
To interrupt, before Vasant comes in, I just want to add one more thing. So I want to give an example of a 501 jeans, and we have hundreds of stories which come into our archives. A 501 jeans from 1950s was passed over for 3 generations. Might have been bought for $5 at that time. Has gone through generations, and there are collectors. I think we're the only brand where people have collected denim across 100 years. And there are collectors in Japan who have basically got jeans from 1925, 1918, and that is really truly sustainable in terms of saying that $25 jeans which can last for 3 generations. That is really sustainable value. So it doesn't mean that it has to be poor quality. Quality can be outstanding, but it can be also delivered at a great value, and which will basically democratize fashion. And so it is not a for or against argument against fast fashion or slow fashion.
So I'm saying, is that the way forward? But Vasant, what's your thought?
See, to take it forward from what Sanjeev said and what Nagesh said, being fashionable is essentially serving certain aspirational needs of the customer and staying current. That's what I see. And to me, that has nothing to do with the price points. In India, while Maruti 800, we may say it is value. Today, the largest selling car company in India. And if you go to the middle class, a Maruti car arriving in their family, maybe after their first job or after their wedding and all, is highly aspirational. Maruti still is aspirational, and it will remain. It is targeted to the customer segment because we cannot pass judgment on that. Similarly, McDonald's is very much aspirational. Why? They give a 99 rupee burger. The family who goes there is an experience which is delivered, and eating in a McDonald's is still considered fashionable for the target segment. So I'm going by the target segment. At the same time, at the high end, as Nagesh said, Porsche car is one example of a fashion statement for the premium customer. Even take iPhone, expensive phone, but selling in volumes and making a fashion statement at the high end. Or a Patagonia jacket, it is fashionable at the high end. So between both ends of the spectrum, value or so-called economy side or the premium side, to me, fashion exists for the customer segment. But of course, the middle is the biggest, and that's what you're coming to, which is, say, for instance, value fashion. Now, value fashion segment is existing across all categories. It is there across all industries. And generally, that is by far the biggest in any country. It is in India as well, similar. Also, if you take those global brands, you're talking about Zara's, H&M's, Uniqlo's, they're all value fashion brands, the biggest brand in their respective countries, so come to India. So to me, that is the largest middle fashion. So for a upper middle mid customer, those are all aspirational fashion brands. So in short, what I'm saying is fashion, aspirational fashion exists at the economy side. It exists at the premium side. It also exists at the middle, which is the largest in terms of consumption. As long as those brands stray true to being fashionable, being aspirational, and then deliver continuous value and service to the customer, they will remain in vogue. And coming to the current times, as Sanjeev puts it, the things have changed. Today, sustainability is being seen very seriously by any customer at all income strata. Is the company serious about sustainability with respect to the product, with respect to the company how it's run, with the employees, with partners? So that is being questioned now, and that is going to be very important. Second trend is tech enabling. Today, technology cannot be just an add-on. It has to be embedded in the company. Is the company tech savvy? Are they servicing the customer anytime, anywhere? Can I buy it from my home? Will they deliver it from the nearby store? Can I buy contactless? Can I do self-checkout without me going through the usual cashiering circuit? So all these things are being questioned. And this, if any retailer focuses, ensuring that they are sustainable, they are tech-enabled, and also understand the new moment of truth journey. Earlier, the way customers bought their products are no longer going to be the same. Today's moment of truth journey has changed. As retailer or as a brand, are you studying the current moment of truth journey? And are you going to stand up for your values, servicing with sustainability in mind, with the technology, and of course, the curated product? Today, the curation of product is completely different. For some time, formals may not be a desired category for shopping. It may be semi-formal, and then it may be casual. It can be loungewear. It can be athleisure. So this will keep changing. What they want in the next 2 months again will change. Come Diwali, again they want formals. So we should be very agile and ensure all the propositions are maintained for every price point to the target customer. And if you do it continuously, you will be seen as a fashion brand, as a fashion company.
Oh, well said. Well said.
Well said. Let me come back to you. We have another angel donor, Nagesh. Kumarji, welcome.
Not a donor.
Kumar ji, आपने बोला था लेकिन आप हो दो. Nagesh, I don't know if you've met Kumar ji before. He runs a textile company. He's been a family. My first office in Bombay was in his office, Kamatgiri Synthetics in Andheri. Kumar ji is also very close to Kishore ji, and Kumar ji, you must tell us before you. He's a very good writer, so he writes kavita. So I've called him to tell us one kavita he wrote in the COVID days. I said, Kumar ji, you have to come and you have to read one kavita of yours, the latest kavita he's written. But before that, I want to ask Kumar ji one short question. Kumar ji, Kishore ji tried that Big Bazaar on the iPad. What kya tha, that technology thing?
Direct. Big Bazaar Direct.
हाँ, तो you run that company. क्या था? What was it? What happened? And क्या हुआ? एक और टेक्नोलॉजी में किशोर जी ने हाथ डाला, फिर नहीं चला. क्या हुआ? क्या था? What was that product?
एक्चुअली जितनी भी ऑनलाइन की चीजें हैं, जो भी अभी भी चल रही हैं, जितना फंड उसमें डालना पड़ता है, और बीइंग ए ट्रेडिशनल बिजनेसमैन लाइक मी, तो मैं हमेशा ऐसा ही लगता था कि नो, दिस इज नॉट आवर कप ऑफ टी. तो दैट्स द थिंग.
बट वो चला तो था, शुरू किया था.
हाँ, अच्छे से किया था, बट पैसा नहीं बनता उन चीजों में ना. बहुत फंडिंग बहुत करनी पड़ती है. यू हैव टू run lot of discounts on those things. So that's the.
So key. Big Bazaar Direct, what Kumar ji you started with Big Bazaar, and I think then he said, "नहीं, मेरे को नहीं करना, मैं textile ही करूँगा." So he runs a textile company, also produce garments for Big Bazaar and all that. You run a factory, no?
Yeah, so a lot of people we produce garments, and in our company still Feature Group is a strategic partner. Nagesh ji को बरसों तक हम लोग IRF में सुनते रहे हैं.
Yes, sir.
कुमार जी एक कविता सुनाओ ना, बढ़िया वाली जो भी आपने लिखी है.
नॉर्मली मैं क्या प्रकृति, प्यार और पॉजिटिविटी पे ही लिखता हूँ. तो घूम फिर के तीनों चीजें सेम ही है, क्योंकि प्रकृति के बिना प्यार नहीं हो सकता, और पॉजिटिविटी के बिना भी प्यार नहीं हो सकता, और प्यार के बिना प्रकृति को आप प्यार नहीं कर सकते. घूम फिर के सेम है. पर कई बार हम लोग क्या होता है कि अंधेरे को स्थायी मान लेते हैं और उसके साथ ही बहुत कुछ करने लगते हैं, जबकि अंधेरा एज पर ओशो नपुंसक है, उसके साथ कुछ नहीं हो सकता. क्योंकि आपको अंधेरा हटाना है तो भी प्रकाश जलाना पड़ेगा, और अंधेरा लाना है तो भी प्रकाश बुझाना पड़ेगा. यू कैन नॉट डू एनीथिंग विद अंधेरा. तो बहुत बार क्या होता है, हम अंधेरे के साथ जूझने लगते हैं तो शक्ति व्यर्थ हो जाती है और मिलता कुछ नहीं है. तो मैंने बिग बाजार डायरेक्ट जब लॉन्च किया था, उस टाइम ही ये कविता लिखी थी, आज के 3-4 साल पहले, और वो ये माहौल के लिए थोड़ी ठीक है, इसके लिए मैं सुना देता हूँ. भुला दीजिए अब पुरानी वो बातें, हमारा नया एक इतिहास होगा, नई राग होगी, नया गीत होगा, हमारा नया एक अंदाज होगा। नई हर सुबह की नई हर किरण में नई रोज को पल नया जन्म देती, नया गीत कोयल सुनाती है हर दिन, नई धूप देखो नए रंग देती। चलो प्रीत बोए उमंगे उगाए, नई चाल होगी नया दाव होगा, भुला दीजिए नई सोच मंजिल इरादे नए हैं, नई राह है और कदम भी नए हैं, नया रूठना है नया है मनाना, नए प्यार के नाज नखरे नए हैं। चलो डूब जाएं नए काम में हम, नई सांस होगी नया साज होगा, बूंदा बांदी नई भीगना भी नया, गीली सिहरन नई और ठिठुरना नया, बूंद स्वाति की मोती में ढलना नया, तेरा मिलना बिछुड़ना ओ मिलना नया। चलो डूब ले बाह में फिर मचल कर, नई नींद होगी नया ख्वाब होगा, भुला दीजिए।
Oh, very positive, very positive.
सर मैं तो आज तक मैंने जितनी बुक्स पढ़ी है ना, अभी इन्होंने मेरे को पिछले 4 दिन पहले जब मैंने बात करी, ही गॉट मी दिस न्यू बुक, अमिताभ बाय दिस बुक, रीड दिस बुक। क्या थी? सिद्धार्था बाय कौन थी?
हरमन हेसे।
हरमन हेसे। ही सेड एक और पढ़ो।
Very popular book. Everybody must have read that book.
हरमन हेसे, सिद्धार्था, एंड एवरी टाइम आई स्पीक टू हिम he says, अच्छा अब ये पढ़ो, ये कविता सुनो। ऑलवेज मैं इनसे 2-3 महीने में एक बार ही चैट करता रहता हूँ और इंस्पायर होता रहता हूँ। ही इज वेरी पॉजिटिव and what he writes is very positive. His thoughts are very positive. Somebody who I have really been inspired by for the last 20-25 years, and very supportive. Thank you, Kumar ji.
Thank you for supporting this cause. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Kumar ji. Bye bye. Take care. Let's come back to our friends, Mr. Sanjeev Mohanty, Vasant Kumar, Vikram Bhatt. Vikram, before I come back to that, I want to still talk about that fashion thing. I have some more thoughts on that. But Vikram, I want to ask, Vikram, I was talking to a lot of your salon owners earlier, and there was this international salon chain which came and said the future of salons, or the profitable model, is when salons create private label products. Yeah. We've seen in food and grocery and a lot of in fashion also, private label is the real revenue generation model, which is really the which leads to profitability. Where are we on that? Because today I see young this Huda Katan from Dubai, all these celebrities, they have created one lipstick and become $1 billion. And what is your thought on these private labels, like an enriched product range? Is that a model which you are thinking? Is that down the line somewhere that is a good model? What should the other salon industry be thinking, and how are you thinking about it?
Okay. So before I answer that question, maybe I want to talk a couple of things, that how our business looks like going forward, right? So after all this deep thinking, debate, nahi subah, naya khwab situation, we thought we have kind of redefined our business model with 6 blocks. And then these 6 blocks are, the first 2 blocks are offline, online. So largely we are traditionally offline. So online has very limited thing to do for us, but going forward it will be a significant portion of it. It may not be necessarily only the product or anything, but booking, interface, conversation, loyalty program, something feature called, we call tele calling. So our customer can talk to even our technician in days to come, right? Second would be service and products. So largely our revenue comes from service business, and products are more of as an aftercare for the service experience. We give it to the customer, and current distribution is 75-25, which we need to want to increase, because that will definitely help us increasing revenue per square feet, revenue per employee, revenue per store. In terms of efficiency, it will only add up because product is more smart sell than the hard sell or time driven thing. And the third set of blocks are going to be services which are done, or products which are bought at home or at salon. Salon definitely continue, but we'll also have little bit of focus on the providing some certain set of services at home, because now is the customer who will define that, you know, I want to book appointment online, but I want to book my product and you please deliver me at home. Now this combination was not there earlier, right? So that has emerged because of this changed environment, and there can be many more combination within this 6 blocks. And we need to manage this new business model with two important pillars of our business. Is one is people and second is the processes. So process has been redefined, they keep evolving, and then we need to be relevant every point of time as we go along. And people, we've talked enough about it. So their motivation, their positivity, their learning, their career, their well-being is the most important thing. Because in our case, not only last mile of execution, even the first mile and the entire journey's execution is people-heavy business model. So that's something we want to continue. Coming to this product business, yes, our focus is going to be moving where we want to move from 75-25 split to maybe 40-60, and it could be either ways. In 10 times to come, even product can take a little more than services. But so far, I don't know for good or bad, we've remained so much focused in our service business, experience, doing those things right every time you come in. So we felt that, you know, doing a business, something which is not known to you, and you keep learning from others' business, right? So quite a few are peer group players and friends, they have tried and they have failed. We have gone some learning from that what worked, what didn't work. Right now, it is somewhere in the conceptual level. But having said that, the bouquet of product we deal with is giving enough choices to the customers. So end of the day, unless and until, or rather till the time we are able to fulfill customers' demand and we are able to give them enough choices in whatever verticals we are working on, and there are experts who have built brands over a period of time, there are businesses who have invested reasonable time and efforts, and then that's how they are there, what they are where. So then getting into it is a little difficult proposition for us. Having said that, I'm not saying we'll not come back to it. There are third processes going on, but it's a long drawn process, and some of the other thing will always take a top priority that okay, now apne ko ye karna hai, right?
Sure.
And as you all know, this situation, this change environment has actually held us back. We need to maybe not take one step back, maybe 2 or 3 steps back before we think of getting
right
to
now, I
forward.
think
Yeah.
This is what Sadhguru has told us. Bhai, make no plans for the future.
We should leave some suspense for them to see Sadhguru's.
Yeah, and anything which you think beyond a year is more of strategy and spreadsheet exercise and thought process and idea and brilliant something, right? So something which you can do in next 1 year is something which can talk material. This is my belief.
Sir. Great. Nagesh, we want to wrap up. So just you want to add something to that value fashion thought, last comments, and let's just close that thought because I think it's
I just want everybody who's in the fashion business and in the fashion retail business to really look at very closely over the next few months the very possible change in the consumer behavior, and maybe we will be quite surprised in the way things will happen, and therefore we will have to alter the way we serve our consumers. My own feeling is that we will have to segment our customers very, very clearly into 3 or 4. And for each one of them, the way we serve them is going to be very, very different. I am seeing a very strong 2 ends of consumers who will have to be served very differently. To me, the customers up to 18, okay, you call them Z, call them whatever, is a very different service opportunity. And to all customers who are above 55, I'm seeing a very different customer opportunity. You will not be able to serve this See, because we always thought, when children come with the parents, we think one is a buyer, another is a consumer. When the 55 and above used to come, we always thought they are the influencer, they are the buyers, they are the consumers. But I am seeing social systems which will actually force them to actually stay at home because the pressure of the society, the children, family to say don't go out for some more time. And the in between, which is the 18 to 45 or 18 to 55, I'm seeing very, very different behavior. For example, let me give you a scenario. A lot of people are saying work from home. When we say work from home, we only assume that the lady is working from home. Please understand, the husband is working from home. The children are studying at home and schooling at home.
Yes.
And the children are being asked to do the schooling on a laptop through an online course. So many of the working mothers, on one side, when she is actually working and doing productive work for the company, next to her is a child who's actually schooling, and she also has to attend to that. Now, these are very, very different times, and these are going to bring in new behaviors. And therefore, I'm saying, suddenly we always said India is a 3-screen business, okay, and 3 screens were the mobile screens. I feel the laptops are going to come back. I feel the bigger screens will come back because you're spending 10 hours on the screen. So very, very new behaviors will come. So we'll have to watch this consumer behavior and alter the way we do fashion retailing. And I like the way Sanjeev started to say, look what's happened to Lululemon. So we really don't know what's going to happen. But yes, I think we'll have to watch it. So post-COVID, we'll see a new set of consumers, the new set of retailers, and the new set of experiences that will develop. And the experiences will not be either online or offline. There will be a continuum of experience which could happen anytime. And I think that's the new era that we are going to see.
Thank you so much, Nagesh. I think that's really insightful. Nagesh, since you are sort of a mentor for all of us, and you're driving the industry through leadership for TRRAIN, and I want to leave a thought with you, Nagesh, that while we are trying to support 5,000 retail employees who have been, and you said that maybe 1.5 million have been laid off, can we not come to
could lose jobs or could have problems?
I truly believe that one is the financial or economic support. I think what these young people need is more of a moral support. And can we not create a platform where we can try to see whether we can donate some bit of our time as leaders to talk to a large group, to give them a positive mindset, talk to them about what they can read, how they can upskill and reskill themselves, because I believe that jobs are going to come back within a year. And I think the biggest impact on young people is hopelessness. I think that is what we need to, make them stay away from. Can we, as leaders, contribute our time through messages and mentorship? I think time is the most valuable thing, and positive and growth mindset, and keeping them positive and hopeful is going to be, I think, a bigger impact than the economic contribution we can make.
Sanjeev, you have actually hit absolutely on the right spot. We already have a platform, okay, called TRRAIN Circle, where we have 130,000 retail employees, okay, and on that platform, I would love leaders to come and talk. Vasant knows about it. The whole Landmark group is using it in a very, very big way. And the engagement level is very high. You want tomorrow morning, we can organize a chat with you, a video with you, a motivation talk with you, okay, which will be listened by the 130,000 people. All the people have got access to counseling. They can get counseling from Tata Institute of Social Sciences. So we have a full array of support for them. And let me also tell you now, you gave me a right to brag a little bit. Let me do it. Okay. And in the last 8 weeks, since the time this happened, all our 52 centers for disabled is closed. Okay. We are not able to do the training. Okay. We had to pull off in between. But my team has been able to, in the last 8 weeks, convert everything to digital. Okay. And as of today, I think they've already done 1,000 training during this period. Okay. For persons with disabilities and girls sitting anywhere. So today TRRAIN is fully digitized to be able to connect the CEO to the last mile and connect the CEO and the last mile to anybody that you want. Okay. And we are absolutely ready to, and it's live and kicking it. Yeah. So I'll get back to you on this today.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Should we close it, Nagesh? I think we are already beyond time.
Yes. the problem was that this was not a chat or a webinar. This was a friends meeting. The only thing we didn't have a glass of wine or a cup of tea to in our hands. Just enjoy
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
Somebody is written that we didn't even realize it's just time just flew. It was such an entertaining and nice casual discussion and important discussion.
Amitabh, I just want to say that when we spoke just about 10 days back on a Wednesday morning, and you really took charge of the situation and the way you led on this, and the kind of support that you have got from everyone.
It's commendable, yes.
It's amazing. It's amazing, yeah. Because I was not very sure, you know, like Amisha is not there. I wish one day I'll bring Amisha on this show. She always is very camera shy. I don't know for whatever reason. But you know, हम लोग जाके जब बोल के तो आ गए, you know, 1.20 crore will collect. But it's not easy in today's day to actually do this. Yeah? But when we had the anchor donor who came in, and now the new coin that you have angel donors coming in, okay, it may be small amounts, but it is so encouraging. And to me, it's just a beginning. It's just a beginning. Maybe tomorrow we will be able to create an industry fund. Okay, if the industry is worth $274 billion, the non-essential, maybe we'll have $1 billion fund, which will be available with us. And in such situations, we don't have to do these kind of shows. Okay, we will dig into the fund and say, here's the fund available for the employees. So I think that's the thinking that we'll have to get on. Okay, and it's again long-term thinking. We have to build it up. It's possible to do.
I'm with you, sir. You said one evening, you said, Amitabh, something you have to do. I said, done. I will only do this. I told you.
So thanks to you, thanks to the team.
And from my side, I wish to say that this is the time where we have to reboot. See, there is opportunity in India. India is always a land of opportunity and high potential. And to me, retail is definitely a very great industry to be in. And it was having a great future. It is having a great future. It will always have a great future. Think about how to reinvent the customer journey, as Nagesh said, and you will discover solutions. You can focus on what you want to do, maybe a regional or a particular product category or a particular genre. And if you go there, I'm sure, for all you know, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity with which you can leverage and maybe create a completely new business or reinvent a business altogether. So to me, it's a great opportunity of rebooting ourselves and staying focused and optimistic and get the next 4 or 5 years time frame to build a completely new business which can last for decades to come.
Thank you.
Can I say my last bit of it?
Sure, sir. Sure, please.
Definitely, this situation has made all of us more sensitive towards people and situations, right? So my appeal to all of the employers and their thing that in this retail industry, those who are employed can even contribute a little bit of it, right? If lakhs of people can contribute a little bit of it, I'm sure this few thousand people can definitely sail through this difficult time. So I just want to leave this forum with that thought of it. What Planet Enrich has done, I'm sure each and every panelist here, each and every listener of this forum can take that thought, and it's very much possible. We all have to get inspired by each other. It's not only leaders will inspire people. This is a time where even people are inspiring people.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Sanjeev.
Thanks,
Vasan.
Thanks, Amitabh.
Thanks, Vikram. Nagesh, so how many people money have we collected till now, till the second Sunday?
2,300 odd numbers we have been able to collect. Okay, including the donor and the angel donor. Okay, I think we will have to do for another about 2,500. But our initial was 3,000. Okay, but जैसे आपसे मिले तो वो 5,000 कर दिया. I said the single engine was trying to drive 3,000. With you coming with doubled engine, so we said 5,000 करेंगे. Okay,
no problem, sir.
We are not far away from the 3,000.
So okay. We are at 2,300 approximately.
Yeah. So we should get another 2,700.
2 more Sundays, sir. 2 more Sundays.
We'll work on that.
2 more Sundays, you'll have to support me. Then I'll make sure we'll try and work this.
Done. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so
Next
much.
Sunday.
Thank you.
Big thumbs up for Nagesh and Amitabh for
thank you.
Yes.
Sir, before we close, let me tell you who's coming next Sunday. So we've already got our next 3 people on the Panchayat. We have Mr. Lalit Agarwal, CMD of VMart. We have Vineet Gautam, CEO of Bestseller. And we have Avnish from Neeru's, Hyderabad. who they are already with us for the next Sunday. So see you all next Sunday. And thank you for the support, all of you, and thank you everybody who's supporting this.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.